You're listening to an interview with G.Banks for The Rap Show, hosted by myself, Mary Grimes, which airs live every Friday on Kane FM 103.7. G.Banks, hello.
What's good, Mary? How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, kind of tired.
I did have to ask G.Banks to be up quite early in order for me to air this interview on today's show, so thank you very much for that. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. It's all good.
Thank you so much. So let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. You're from Sacramento in the US, right?
Yep, Sacramento, California to be exact.
Okay, and how old are you at the moment?
I am 26.
Okay, and so what was it that got you into rapping?
I'm just growing up being into like the hip hop culture. I was like that hip hop head just growing up, always studying like the old school 90s East Coast era, 90s West Coast era. So I've always been a part of the culture, always been a fan.
Nice. What was your favorite album growing up?
Favorite album growing up? Ooh, there's a lot of those. I'll probably say 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. That's like in my top 3.
Yeah, that's a classic. So
yes,
when you got
definitely.
into rapping, you kind of mentioned that you've kind of always been doing it. You've always been around the scene, around the culture. But how old were you when you sort of realised that you were talented enough to do something with it?
I'd probably say maybe like 19 or 20, around there. So I was writing for like a really long time before I even started like recording and putting music out. So around like 19, 20.
Oh,
Started
wow.
kind of late. Yeah, kind of late.
So you've been writing lyrics for a long time. What have you done with those? Have you actually made tracks out of all of them, or are there still loads that you haven't even released yet?
I have a few. Like a lot of the songs I wrote like years ago, I kind of just scratched. I just wanted to wait until I got better with just my flow and skills and all that. But I have some like really old ones in the vault, like I might use. They still sound dope. But yeah, just a lot of scattered verses, just chilling.
So when did you release your first official project?
First official project in 2016. I think it was August 2016. I can't remember the exact date, but it was like a little freestyle EP. It was like 6 songs. I just picked some of like my favorite beats or classic beats that were out at the time, and I just dropped that. So that was like my first little project.
And looking back now, how do you feel about that EP that you made back then?
Ooh, I hate it.
Oh no.
I hate it. I think maybe out of like the 6, maybe like 1 or 2 songs are cool. That's really it.
What's wrong with the others?
I don't know. It just wasn't really like going back at it. I could have rapped them a little better, but it's all good though. There's still some good bars on there. I'm just like I'm my worst critic.
Yeah, of course. So at that point, did you have an audience, or did that actually help to attract one?
No, I kind of helped to attract one. Like a lot of people didn't really expect me to just start putting music out, even though they always told me to. So they were just a little surprised with my rhyme skill and all that. So it was cool to draw like my friends' attention and people that I knew.
Okay, now let's fast track a bit to the present day. You've got a new project out, haven't you?
Yes, I do. Much love, G.Banks.
Nice. So can you tell us a bit about how that came about?
Much love, G.Banks. I started writing that summer of 2017, a while ago.
Yeah.
So I wrote a bunch of songs, and myself, I don't like having like long projects. I don't like listening to long projects either. So I just had a bunch of songs, and I was like, let me just split this up into multiple projects. So the first half came out last year, was my mixtape I put out last year. And then I just used the other like 4 or 5 songs to go into Much Love, G.Banks. So I already had like a halfway start. So just a lot of summertime vibes. I was just like in a real summertime mood when I started writing it. So yeah, 2 years. And it was really cool to finally fast forward and like get those going and put them out. It's a long time coming for this project.
For sure. One thing I did notice about this project, aside from all of the great tunes, of course, is that you listed the producers in the track titles.
Yes.
I think that's great, because I noticed that a lot of producers don't always get the credit they deserve, especially not in the track titles. It might be sort of hidden in the notes somewhere.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
And then because of that, I realised that every track actually does have a different producer. What's the reasoning behind that?
Just beats I found years ago on YouTube, actually. But I mean, I pay to use them. But I'm just always looking for beats. Like I have homies that make beats, but me just like being in my room all the time, just bumping instrumentals or trying to find something new to write to, I'm always just looking for beats.
Yeah, and what that does is, like, I've noticed it's such a great combination of course, consistency, because your vocals are on it throughout the album, but then because of the different producers in each track, it makes such a versatile collection of moods and vibes. They're so different each track, but they come together in this lovely album called Much Love.
Yes, that's what I like to do, just show off my different, I guess, different vibes I can give off. A lot of people consider me like more of like a East Coast sounding rapper because I'm super like old school East Coast sounding, so wanted to switch it up and just have different like West Coast type of vibes.
Yeah. And so now the music's out, of course, for the project, which we will be sharing with the listeners. We already have shared one track, actually. But what are you planning to do next?
Music videos are next. I need to get some more visuals out there. I only have like 2, but I'm really excited to do visuals for this project. So that's the main thing. Some videos.
That's the perfect answer. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I would love to see what you have in your mind to create like an actual look for these tracks, because obviously when you hear songs from artists you imagine how they look, but then to actually know what the artist is thinking of when you created that song, I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited as well. We're probably just gonna go down the track list and just like do videos, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I think that about concludes our interview.
For sure.
It was great speaking to you and learning more about your music and how it all actually came about. Is there anything you would like to give a plug?
I guess I would just plug my social media. Follow me on Instagram, the Boy Wonder, 2 E's and the word the. And my new project, Much Love, G.Banks, available everywhere, literally.
Nice.
So people can go bump that.
What about Twitter as well? I see you're quite active on Twitter.
Oh yeah, Twitter, at GGB2nd. So that's uppercase G, uppercase G, uppercase B, the number 2, and then Indy.
Awesome.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, would you like to introduce the next track for us?
Yes, I'm down. The track we'll be listening to next is my song called Just Have Fun off my new project, Much Love, G.Banks.